The war within is almost here and pre-patch is just about to drop. I thought now was a good time to run back and refresh on the history of the Earthen we've met on Azeroth already, but I found something in my travels that could have massive implications for the World Soul Saga. What I have found may raise more questions than answers as to what the Titans were doing, and maybe just what the Void has been up to inside Azeroth. Bear with me because there is more than one thing to look at. The Earthen have been showing up in Warcraft for a long time. Most notably, they are around massive Titan facilities. The main ones we encounter are Uldaman in the Badlands, Ulduar in the Storm Peaks, and Uldum. If we start with the oldest encounter, Uldaman, we learn one version of how the Earthen came to be in the words of the Titan Keepers and how they evolved. This has later changed, but from what we understand, this is a Titan cover-up. Make sure you stick around until the end because this will have an impact on the World Soul Saga. We visit Uldaman looking for the ultimate treasure, and along the way we'll come across and kill some of the Earthen just doing their job. By the end of the dungeon we take out the final boss Azj-Kahet and arrive in the Hall of Crafters. The main treasure we find here is the Discs of Norgannon. Once you click and accept the quest, you can speak to the Lawkeeper of Norgannon in the same room. It is he that sheds light on the creation of the Earthen. I'll read these ones out because there is no voice in the game for it, but if you want to use the timestamps you can skip ahead to my summary. A lot of this concerns their creation but also their destabilization. Here it is. Salutations. My function is to offer access to, and when permissible, insight into information regarding the Creator's synthesis of the Earthen on the world designated as Azeroth. I am ready to share this information with you now, at your leisure. The player asks, who are the Earthen? The Earthen are a synthesized race engineered by the Creators, functioning as one of the seed races in the initial population of the world designated as Azeroth. The Earthen were created to aid the Creators' efforts in shaping the deep regions of this world. They are a modification of the standard subterranean being matrix used on other worlds that the Creators have seeded. The construction of this prototype race created various anomalies that were observed after initial synthesis. What is a subterranean being matrix? It is one of the synthesis matrices the Creators use when seeding a world. Each synthesis matrix is used to achieve the Creators' goals. For Azeroth, a subterranean being matrix was modified to create a being with increased durability with an affinity for deep region shaping. The Earthen are the product of this modification. After the Earthen had been put into service for the Creators, unforeseen anomalies were discovered that affected their synthesis matrix due to high-stress environments. What are the anomalies you speak of? Additional background information on the Earthen must be given to you before this question may be answered properly. Processing. To understand the anomalies of the Earthen, it is first important to understand what the Earthen represent in their design intent. The Earthen represent the Creator's attempt at improving the survivability paradigm of the standard subterranean being matrix. This was done by incorporating a resilient foundation of construction inherent to the world into said matrix. What is a resilient foundation of construction? It is a baseline material used in race synthesis. A cross-section of Azeroth's crust was used as a foundation for the Earthen synthesis, rather than the typical biomass construction foundation used by the Creators. Research on the world's composition led the Creators to theorize that an enhanced being could be synthesized that would epitomize the resilience of this world's essence. This was accomplished by choosing to use a blend of Azeroth's various stone core compounds as the foundation. So, the Earthen were made out of stone. Simply stated, this is correct. The Earthen's physical features are that of a smaller stature humanoid, though their composition is that of Azeroth's various stone core compounds. Their design maximizes strength and stamina without sacrificing cognitive processing power. Their skin and musculature are nearly impervious to physical damage. With a very minor modification, the Earthen display a remarkable resilience to unwanted magical forces. Anything else I should know about the Earthen? It is integral to the assimilation of this data that it is understood that the Creators wanted to synthesize a race that would long be an integral part of the world's development cycle after they had departed. This race would be instrumental in fulfilling the Creators' long-term development objectives for Azeroth. As an ancillary note, the nomenclature Earthen was deemed appropriate for the new race by the Creators, based on the Earthen's composition. I think I understand the Creator's design intent for the Earthen now. What are the Earthen's anomalies that you spoke of earlier? The Earthen's only anomaly in synthesis is a tendency for matrix destabilization while being utilized in high-stress environments. Addendum. Deep Earth sculpting was naturally suited to the new matrix design, and thus never met the qualifications of duplicating a high-stress environment. Destabilization was not discovered until well into the Earthen's primary service cycle for the Creators. The Creators began work on post-synthesis modification rather than recall and resynthesis. What high-stress environments would cause the Earthen to destabilize? There is a noticeable pause after you ask this question. The information you request is not currently available in this repository's data cycling. I sincerely apologize for this omission. Please request this information after a data cycling update has been performed on this information repository. You may also request this information from another information repository located on Azeroth. What happens when the Earthen destabilize? There are two potential results when the Earthen synthesis matrix destabilizes. Initiating visual aid representation, number 1. The first variant matrix is a degenerative product of synthesis, hereby designated with the common nomenclature of Trog. This variant maintains strength and stamina comparable to the Earthen, but its cognitive processing power has been almost completely compromised. Force of will and a strong sense of cunning are the only driving factors in the psyche of the Trog. Trogs? Are the Trogs you mentioned the same as the ones in the world today? I am unable to process your chronological reference in comparison to the recording of this data. My apologies. The Trog retains some composition of Azeroth's various stone core compounds, but the loss of cognitive power makes this variant unacceptable to the creators. The Trog procreates as per a standard biomass. By default, it consumes stone and anything else it can acquire, including other Trogs. Cannibalism is considered unacceptable by the creators. You mentioned two results when the Earthen destabilize. What is the second? Initiating visual aid representation, number 2. The second resultant variance of the Earthen matrix retains many desired elements when compared to the standard subterranean matrix. The common nomenclature for this variant is Dwarf. This variant retains strength and stamina inherent to the Earthen. In some cases, the Dwarf even exceeds the cognitive powers of the Earthen's matrix. The Dwarf, however, retains none of the physical composition of Azeroth's various stone core compounds. Dwarves? Are you telling me that the dwarves originally came from the Earthen? The data stored in this repository does indeed correlate with your astute proclamation. The dwarf maintains an affinity for the stone composition of Azeroth, but due to the high stress environmental anomaly within the Earthen synthesis matrix, the dwarf reverts to a default biomass composition as seen in the standard subterranean matrix. Ergo, the dwarf variant does synthesize from the degeneration of the Earthen creation matrix, as you inferred with your query. These dwarves are the same ones as today, yes? Do the dwarves maintain any other links to the Earthen? I am unable to process your chronological reference in comparison to the recording of this data, my apologies. Though the dwarf maintains most of the Earthen's mental attunement to Azeroth's stone composition, the reversion back into living biomass remains the main degeneration of the matrix. Dwarves eat and procreate through means typical to other standard biomasses. The creators view the dwarf as an acceptable variant, worthy of genesis in its own right. Who are the creators? The creators are the creators. They are the beings that seeded and shaped this world by their own design. They are the reason for this world's existence, as well as many other worlds. They are the wellspring from which Azeroth flows. Scene. Now, if you're up to date with the current lore, you'll know they are talking about the Titans as the creators. Essentially, the Earthen are a mechanical construct shaped by design of the Titans. They create these beings on every planet they want to change. The exception with the Earthen is that they use the stone compounds of Azeroth to build and power them so they were more effective. However, they would destabilize over time, according to the Lorekeeper, either into a simple minor Trog or into the Dwarven we know. Now, backing this up a bit, I assume we would see Trogs in Khazalgar if Earthen can destabilize into this form as well. Now, when the player asks what high stress environments would cause the Earthen to destabilize, the Lorekeeper says it does not know essentially, and to seek another repository on Azeroth to find the answers. Enter Ulduar in Northrend. More specifically in Ulduar is the Halls of Stone. Outside the facility we see Earthen fighting the Iron Dwarves. Now, the Halls of Stone is one of 3 instances in the zone, but the most interesting of the 3 when it comes to the Earthen and Azeroth. Once you complete the Tribunal of Ages, Bran asks the Tribunal plenty of questions on the origin of the Dwarves. Let's listen in.
Lifeform pattern recognized. Welcome, Radronson. Query?
Query? What do you think I'm here for? Tea and biscuits? Spill the beans already. Tell me how the dwarves came to be. And start at the beginning.
Accessing prehistoric data. Retrieved. In the beginning, Earthen were created.
Right, I know the Earthen were made from stone to shape the deep regions of the world. But what about the anomalies? Matrix, non-stabilizing and whatnot.
Accessing. In the early stages of its development cycle, Azeroth suffered infection by parasitic necrophotic symbiotes.
An infection of parasitic necrophotic symbiotes. Now, if memory serves me correct, while a parasite is a foreign body, a symbiote becomes one with its host to a point where one cannot survive without it. This is how a parasite keeps itself alive.
Necro One, speak bloody common, will ya?
Designation. useless in order to facilitate assimilation. This matrix destabilization has been termed the curse of flesh. Effects of destabilization increased over time.
Old gods, huh? So they zap the Earthen with this curse of flesh, and then what?
So the old gods initiated destabilization of the Earthen with the curse of flesh, so they could assimilate Azeroth. That is different to what was said at Uldaman. There, it was simply left as being caused by a high-stress environment. This could either be a retcon or compartmentalized information between facilities so it would not spread.
Accessing. Creators arrived to extirpate symbiotic infection. Assessment revealed that Old God infestation had grown malignant. Excising parasites would result in loss of host.
If they killed the old gods, Azeroth would have been destroyed.
Once the old gods have arrived and destabilized everything, including the Earthen to effectively bring down all Azeroth's defenses, the Titans are forced to come back to save Azeroth. Could be interesting. This is clearly what Iridikron was doing by seeking the void on Azeroth, so they must return as they had before. Now for them to remove the old gods or parasites, it would result in the loss of the host, Azeroth.
Correct. Creators neutralized parasitic threat and contained it within the host. Forge of Wills and other systems were instituted to create new Earthen. Safeguards were implemented, and protectors were appointed.
They basically imprisoned the old gods underground. Way to solve the problem, guys. I think the thing to remember here is that if the old gods are completely removed, Azeroth dies. The Titans don't have a move here. They're playing chess with the Void and the Void has check. Old god forces have been able to stay and pave the way for the Void to come to Azeroth. The Earthen destabilization was just them taking down Azeroth's defenses. Just briefly as well, because it isn't a massive appearance for the Earthen, they also appeared at the gates of Uldaman when Cataclysm hit. The form we get here is the Sandstone Earthen, and they are already malfunctioning due to being turned on for too long. The other location they appear in, and are functioning in, is Deepholm. Their hero's Deepholm is the prison of the Earth Elementals, created by the Titanforge so they could not harm Azeroth. As for what's going on with the Earthen in the War Within, they are shutting down because of an issue not in only themselves, but a widespread problem for their society. Won't get into that today though. This is history, and that is the future. The Earthen are caught in the middle, just like the rest of the citizens of Azeroth. These archives tell us about the relationship between the Old Gods and Azeroth. It seems Void and the Old Gods are effectively tied to the fate of Azeroth. What else will we learn about the Earthen in the War Within? I guess we'll find out soon. Catch you next time.